I'm Morgan. This is a talk I actually did for my company BetterUp. So some of it's going to be a little bit company specific. You can just ignore all that. But I'm an engineering manager. I'm a serial hobbyist, which means I do all kinds of things. And then I get distracted by squirrels and move to the next one. I'm also not an expert on any of this. I'm just fascinated. So we're going to talk about the explosion of art being created by artificial intelligence. So 1, meet the robots. 2, we'll look at the gallery. And then we'll talk a little bit about philosophy and morality, maybe if we have time. So meeting the robots. Midjourney. So this is one that's gotten a lot of press. Private company. Pay attention to these dates. July 12th, 2022 was their open beta. It was not very long ago. Interestingly enough, they use Discord as their platform, which is like crazy to me. Yeah, and here's some art that I did not make, but other people made with Midjourney that I just kind of put in there. I'm just going to skip the deep description. So Dolly and Dolly 2, another one, January of 2021 was announced, but it didn't go to open beta till July. 1 million people were waitlisted before they even launched. So a lot of interest. And again, here's some weird art that I did not make. There was another one called Dolly Mini. And then Dolly's like, could you call it something else, please? Because you're not affiliated with us at all. So they changed the name to Crayon AI for artificial intelligence. And this one is on the web. You can just go to crayon.com, type in stuff, and it pops up. It's all web-based, really easy. It's a good gateway drug into this stuff. And this is what it generates, a 3x3 grid of a bunch of things. And the results can be pretty entertaining. But the one I'm going to spend most time talking about is Stable Diffusion, because Stable Diffusion is open source and it's what I've been using. Public release in August. They forced me to buy a new video card. And has a lot of different things like different people building web UIs and stuff on top of the technology to make it easier to use. So yeah, and this is art generated by Stable Diffusion. So Meta also released this make a video thing. You can type a text prompt and it will make a video. It's crazy. Go take a look. Anyway, all of this in Stable Diffusion, all this stuff is from a 4.2 gig model. That's it, 4 gigs. You can make all this art, which is essentially infinite. So moving real fast, we're gonna jump into the gallery. Okay, text prompts. This is the bread and butter of AI image generation. Just describe what you wanna see. It's a subtle art, no pun intended. Your results will be heavily dependent on the words you choose and their ordering, phrases designed to act as modifiers, specific syntax to emphasize or de-emphasize things, including artist names, which can be used to inform style and composition, and like a bunch of parameters you can pass to it, like height and width, things like that. So my company's BetterUp. So the first prompt I tried was for this talk was a human fully self-actualized by BetterUp. And I got these results. I don't know what else to say other than that's pretty weird. But it wasn't exactly what I wanted. So I changed to say human fully self-actualized by BetterUp, insane detail cartoon. And then I got these results. And then I decided, well, what if I wanted it to be a square? So one of the things when you make images tall, sometimes it's like, I don't know what to do with all this space. So I guess I'll kind of do it twice and then just like merge them together so you get weird results. So this is what I got when I did a square. Again, all of this was just from that string of text you see at the top of the screen. So it definitely has its own personality. Some of them that I did that I liked, this is Goth Alice in Wonderland in a haunted forest, which I really liked. My daughter's prompt, a giant marshmallow bunny frolicking in a lush green field with blue skies. The thing I like to point out with this one is the shading and like the light source stuff. It actually does a really good job of doing that, which is crazy. Hold on, I got to move this little bar because it's so I can't read. Okay. A handsome giraffe or bear wearing a suit and a top hat. These are probably my favorites. Like right now, I'm like animals in suits. I just really like it. Don't know why. I especially like the double head giraffe. Okay, so then let's get more detailed, right? Landscape, futuristic castle in the foreground, blah, blah, blah. Here's examples of some things that it made for me. So, okay, in addition to text prompts, you can do image prompts. So you can give it an image and some text and tell it to do things. So this is a piece of art that I made on a Wacom tablet forever ago. Just drew a little fish, I'm like, what if I just put it in and don't tell it to do, don't give it any idea what I want? What will it give me? I have no idea. Like, it really thinks there's a guitar in this picture. And this, yeah, gets like a little bit Picasso-esque. And then I'm like, okay, what if I give it the text, a 3D rendered fish, high detailed, photorealistic? Then I get these fish, which are pretty cool. Okay. What if I take my own picture and I say an oil painting with visible brushstrokes, highly detailed, professional? So there's a whole bunch of these. Some of them I find really interesting, like the art on my shirt, kind of what it turns into. Like this, like the detail on her apron. And then this one where it's like very literal. It's like, oh, an oil painting. I don't know what that is, like where that base came from, but it's an actual oil painting. Okay, this is my cat Mochi. And the prompt was giant cat rampaging in the city, burning buildings, color explosions. That's what I got, which is pretty cool. This is my beautiful drawing that I made. And I'm like, this is so good. What if it could be better? And so I gave it a nice, rich description of what I see in my head. And here are some results for what it generated. I'm not very good at drawing dragons. So I'm like, highly detailed, realistic, ferocious red dragon. And then you can see that it kind of tries a little harder. That one's pretty cool. And then just more playing with the prompts, and you can see how different, just changing a couple of words makes things totally different. Okay, so the other thing you can do is something called in-painting. So what I did is I took the giraffe and the suit, and I erased all the stuff around it and gave it the prompt, a New York City street in the 1800s, and I got this. So now my giraffe is in a realistic setting. So this is my CTO. His name is Ryan. I did this in front of about 100 people at our company, and I said, what would it look like if he had beautiful, luxurious, flowing hair? And yeah, so these don't really look very much like him, but they do have nice hair. This is with strength 8. And then when I do strength 4, you can adjust the strength. Now it's like, it doesn't really look that different, just really subtle differences. And then with strength 6, you can kind of see it starts to get some more, but not exactly what I wanted. So in painting. So what I do is I identify a part of the image and replace that part of the image with a text prompt. So beautiful, luxurious, flowing hair, curly afro, punk rock hair, or maybe just a full head tattoo instead of hair. These are now his profile photos. I'll skip this video. A friend of ours named Scott did. People playing with video. And this is my company logo, which I always thought looked like a hot air balloon. So I'm like, oh, look at that. It does look like a hot air balloon. Okay, how am I doing on time? Okay, so we won't go into these in-depth discussions. These are more like exercise for the reader. Things that are happening in the world. An AI-generated piece of art won a prize. People aren't happy. Yeah, I like in a quote with the New York Times, he said, "Art is dead." The artist who actually made this. So there are actually now a whole bunch of rules in art and like the terms and conditions on a lot of new art contests where it says no AI art allowed. An artist got the first US copyright for a graphic novel that was created using AI generated art. There have been some attempts to copyright this under the AI's name that the government kept rejecting, but when they submitted it with a human attached, they let it go through. Just kind of interesting. What else do I have in here? Getty Images and Shutterstock basically found a bunch of AI art and purged it all, even though some of the AI art that was there was some of their highest selling pieces, which is interesting. So things to ponder and argue about. Who owns the art created by these AIs? Is it the person who types in the prompt and generates it, the people who trained the AI itself? Who knows? Is this real art? This is a fun one I've been going around with my daughter on. Is the value of a piece of art different because it was generated by AI? Why? What impact will this have on people who create art for a living? This is where I actually get a little bit worried about the impact it could have on living artists. And is it ethical to give Ryan hair? I could do something nefarious with this technology too, right? So what are the ethics of taking an image and changing it in a way that looks realistic? It's kind of hard to tell. So that was it. Questions?